Again, thank you for joining us for another wonderful, awesome episode of Real Life, Real Talk, Real Faith. And again, we have the wonderful Miss Debra Kennedy in the studio with us, and she's going to bless us with a treat on this afternoon. I'm going to save it for her to let you know what it is, but we are looking forward to sharing and for her sharing with us again. And so help me to introduce one more time. You all know her, Miss Debra Kennedy.
Yeah, let me tell you about the ones they tried to hide. The heroes in the shadows who stood up with pride. Shirley Chisholm, first black woman in Congress. Unboard and unbossed, paved the way for generations, no matter the cost. Bayer Rustin organized the march in Washington, you see. Behind the scenes, architect of equality. Claudette Colvin, 15 years old, refused to give up a seat. 9 months before Rosa, but history incomplete. Annie Lee Cooper stood in line to vote, got punched in the face. But she fought back, wouldn't let them put her in a place. Dorothy Heights, civil rights queen for 6 decades strong. Fighting for women's rights, righting every wrong. Bessie Coleman, first black woman.
Hello, Eric. Thank you again for having me on. I'm so excited to have another conversation with you.
Oh, I can't wait. We had so much good feedback from our first conversation. We just had to, so nice. We had to do it twice and probably do it 3 or 4 more times. So there you have it. All right. Listen, Deb, tell us a little bit about Get Down with Deb. What are the services that you offer, and, who will be your ideal client?
So Get Down with Deb is just the business structure that I formed just so I can bring all this information to you all. The name it's twofold. So one, I want you to get down with me, get down on this journey, this healthy living journey. But 2, I want you to get down on your weight, get down on your blood pressure, get your blood sugars down. So it was a little play on words, and I thought that was kind of cute.
Excellent. It actually, it's very catchy to Get Down with Deb. Kind of makes you think like, what's she talking about? What are we gonna get down with?
Exactly. So that's so perfect, because that's what I wanted. I wanted people to say, well, get down with what? And, draw people in a little bit more. So
it worked.
You solidified that my plan worked.
All right. It did. It really did.
So the business is really, it's about, the core of the business is about nutrition education. I center that around cooking classes that I do. And also I'm about to branch out into more support, because from the classes that I've done, what I've heard more and more that people are looking for everyday support when the class is over. They kind of fizzle out, right? They need that encouragement. So I'm looking to branch out into more like online classes and build out the coaching part of the business so that I can give that daily support. But I'm really just trying to get to those people who are tired of dieting, right? Those who really just want to, they're tired of the confusion, actually, and who really just want to get started in eating healthy, and who are interested in plant-based eating and think that it might be for them.
I like that. And I like what you said, tired of dieting. So many people that's dieting without a purpose. The purpose may be looking at the immediate picture to lose weight today. But, what you offer is wonderful because it gives us a purpose that goes beyond just looking at the mirror today. This is not only going to help me lose weight, but it's going to help me get healthy and remain healthy. So exactly. I think you have a great twofold opportunity that you're presenting to us, because we get to lose the weight and get healthy. That's a twofold.
And it's about long-lasting change, right? It's like you said, it's not about diet. It's about changing the way you eat, which happens to be called your diet. But, changing the way you eat so that you can just live free and eat and still lose weight and look healthy and do all the good stuff. So I'm excited about this platform.
Good. I mean, I love it. I love it. And so you're a certified Food for Life instructor. So tell me this, and that's with Certified Life Food Instructor with Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. You gave us a definition on our first episode, and I'm not going to ask you to go back into that again, but I am going to ask you, what does that certification mean to you, and why was it so important for you to obtain that certification?
Well, the certification means so much to me. It really gives me, I think, the credibility to go out there and actually teach this information, because yes, I have my own journey and I have a success story, but it may not be the same for everyone else. But there are multiple success stories just like mine. And that's what this program is really all about. It's designed, I know I gave the definition, but just a little snapshot again. It's designed by doctors, dietitians, nurses. They put this curriculum together based on all of the scientific research. So I'm going out there armed with all this excellent information, and I can interweave my own story, but I know that what I'm teaching when the classes are, when the light goes on, I'm really teaching actual factual information. This is not internet nutrition hype. This is factual, research-based information.
And I recall yesterday, our pastor made that mention in church on Sunday morning that this is evidence-based. And when you have evidence-based classes or evidence-based instruction, you really can't go wrong, because again, you had the word evidence-based. So this is evidence, something that's tangible that we've seen and proven that works. And so when you offer that, what you do, it helps to solidify even more of a reason for us to gravitate to this, because it's not, again, like you said, it's not some internet hype. It's not some TikTok hype, Facebook or Instagram hype, somebody who's just trying to sell you a dream. They want to sell you a steak, but they give you the hamburger. What you're doing, I'm serious, but what you're doing is you're promising the good things, and you're presenting and you're giving us the good things. So again, this is an excellent opportunity. And I just want to take a quick opportunity to tell everybody that when you're listening, please, and we're not getting anything out of this. This is not something that we're promoting to fatten our pockets. No, we're doing this because we really want this information out there for people to be healthy, get healthy, stay healthy, and pass it along. So again, we thank God for Deb being here with us on today. And listen, Deb, just do me a favor, walk us through what happens in one of your classes, one of your cooking classes. And, what can somebody expect if they sign up?
Well, the cooking classes, we have so much fun because I'm a silly person. So I try to make, even though it's a lot of information, you're getting an education. It's actual class, right? Where we'll watch a video, we'll have a discussion, we take a little quiz afterwards. But we still try to make it fun, right? Because this is a lot of scientific information that the curriculum has been able to really make it so concise and digestible. So most of them are like 2-hour classes. The first half will be, like I mentioned, the nutrition education. And then after that, the second half, we're cooking. So I cook an actual meal right there, a couple meals actually right there during the class. And at the end of the class, everyone gets to taste a sample of it. And it's so wonderful. And I even for me, I'm constantly learning, because there's a lot of recipes that are part of the curriculum that I've never tasted. So I'm still continuously learning. It's amazing. But even better, I can cook a meal for you right now if you like.
You think I'm going to say no to some food? What? Girl, go ahead and do you. Go ahead. So this is the surprise, everybody, that we were talking about. She has volunteered to not only express and show her culinary artisticness, but she's also given us an opportunity to see what it's like to cook a meal of this stature and show us how we can all do this in our own kitchen. So Deb, I'm moving all the way out the way because I want to see what you got going on inside this kitchen. So go ahead and take us through this.
Awesome. So the first thing we are going to make, So the meal that we're going to make today is called a mock tuna spread. So obviously tuna is not on the diet, right? Because it's fish. So today we are going to make a mock tuna spread. For anyone who loves tuna fish, which I used to love, I would slice it up and put all kind of onions and tomatoes and everything else in there. We are going to make something that's just as delicious. And I have to admit, I've been making this for the past 2 weeks or so. We cooked it in one of the classes, and I was like, oh, that's right. I remember I love this dish. And it's just been in my fridge. Every time it runs low, I'm making it again. And the whole family loves it too. So really simple ingredients. First thing, it's made out of beans. It's made out of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. So if you can see there, this is an example. So we'll just use 1 can. And I'm sure you'll list the recipe, the full ingredients and the breakdown somewhere. But so we use just 1 can of chickpeas. If you can, find the low sodium version or no salt version. Those are always better. Just in general, for overall health, if you're looking to cut back on sodium and just eat healthier, try to find the low sodium or no salt variety of all beans, because you can always add in the salt later, and then you get to control how much you want. So we have chickpeas, and then the other ingredients are really simple. It's going to be celery, carrots, onions. We're going to put a little bit of mustard in there. I'm choosing Dijon mustard, but you can choose whatever you like.
Okay.
And a little bit of lemon juice. But the other thing that I want to show you, because usually when you're making tuna salad, right, you put mayo in there.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, mayo is not vegan. It's not plant-based. It's made with eggs. So guess who has a great version? Hellmann's.
What?
The brand that we all know and love. They have a plant-based mayo, and this is so good. Trust me, I've had people in my class try it, and they're like, I love this spread. It tastes just like mayo, even better. It has a little bit more seasonings to it. So, and it's not in any specialty section. It's right next to your mayo that you've been grabbing the whole time. You probably just never looked for it, right? But if you can't find it right next to the mayo, most supermarkets now have like the natural aisle. So we'll go in the natural aisle, and I'm sure it will be over there. And
now I'm gonna ask a question real quick, Deb. I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm curious now, because you just showed me something that I had bypassed in the grocery store, because I go down the condiments aisle. So would you say that more grocery stores are starting to offer plant-based substitutes for some of our famous seasonings or I should say seasonings or condiments? Do you see that they're moving towards adding more plant-based condiments to their shelves?
Absolutely. I think everywhere you go, from the dairy aisle, if you like yogurt, there's a plant-based yogurt, whether it's made from coconut or almond, soy. Same thing with any kind of dairy. If you're looking for cream cheese, even regular cheese, there's always a substitute. Same thing for the meats, right? I think most of us know about the Beyond meats, but there's so many others that are a little bit better. No shade to Beyond meat, but that are a little bit healthier for you. Yeah, everywhere you go, it's right there. You don't have to search for it anymore, which is great. This makes this a little bit easier. If this was 1995, you'd have to search out that health food store in your town that's probably really small and has limited items. But now you can just go to your regular supermarket, and the information, the products are right there.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
To continue, so we're going to use the chickpeas. I put them all in here. So even though it wasn't the low sodium, what I did, I drained all the water off and I rinsed it. So it got rid of a lot of the sodium in there. Okay. Now, two options. You can either, if you don't have a food processor, you can put this in a bowl and just use a masher, a fork, or like a potato masher, because you want this to be kind of little bite-sized pieces. But I have a little food processor right here, so I'm going to do that really quick.
All right.
Makes it go so much faster.
All right. So for those who are just joining with us, Deb is blessing us today with a dish called mock tuna spread, and it sounds wonderful and marvelous. So we're looking forward to the end product, but she is doing something in the kitchen, and she's using her expertise in the plant-based diet to perform or give us an opportunity to see how she makes her dishes in her own kitchen.
Yes, I hope that the sound, I'm gonna make some sound for a little bit. Just give me a
second.
Go
right ahead.
So this is, and these are, I think I can show you if I can bring over, it's just a little food processor like this. Probably
okay.
Story, yeah. Simple, nothing fancy. You can chop your onions in there, any kind of ingredients that you want. So that's just a first batch.
Got you.
Do another little bit. And this obviously goes so much faster than having to chop it.
Yeah. So definitely.
That's the option that I went with. Okay, one more time, chopping it up.
Okay.
And you can make it as chunky or fine as you want. And you can make it as chunky or as fine as you like. It's all up to you. I like it a little chunky, so I kept some larger bits in there. But you can see now, so that is going to be the base. That's what's going to give it the thickness. And then we're just going to add in all the other ingredients. So I have one celery that I pre-chopped.
Okay.
I just decided to add carrots to this because why not add some more color, some more vitamins, and it just adds to the bite in there. And you know, carrots
I love
add
color.
that little bit of sweetness, which is
yes.
Nice. And then this is just a quarter of an onion. You can use more or less. If you don't like onions, don't put. If you don't like any of these ingredients and you just want to use the chickpeas and the mayo, then do that. You know, these recipes are always they're a base, and you can add or take away. So I'm just starting to mix that up a little bit. And doesn't that just look good already?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
You know what they always say? I wish there was smell-o-vision.
I know.
So then you can smell it. I love onions, so I would actually put even more onions in here. Maybe these were just regular white onions, but red onions would be nice.
Oh yeah, I'm an onion fanatic. I live by onions and peppers. I love them.
So the other thing that we're going to put in here to give it a little bit of flavor is sweet relish.
Okay.
That gives it a nice little sweet flavor along with the carrot. So I think it's about I'm just going to eyeball it, but I think it's about 2 tablespoons. But again, to your liking. So that goes in there. Mix that up. And then we're going to put in the mayo. Okay. So depending, again, I think the recipe calls for about a quarter cup. You don't like that much, or you want a little bit more or less, I never used to measure, right? When you're just, it's just eyeballing, right?
There you go.
Eyeball it until I like the creamy consistency. But you see, this is starting to come together.
It's looking good too. And basically, Deb, I'm looking at this recipe come together and it just looks marvelous. Scrumptious. But tell me something. What would be one of the most common objections or concerns that you hear from people who are interested in being a plant-based diet, but, you know, they're hesitant to try it? What would be some of the common objections that you hear from people?
I think one is that it can be too expensive, which I disagree with. Another one would be, where do you get your protein? I think that's like the vegan question. Where do you get your protein? So to answer the expensive, it's not expensive. Okay, I can't always multitask at the same time. But
take your time.
Think about a typical meal that someone would make, right? Let's say if you're a meat eater, you might have chicken and rice and some kind of vegetable, right? Collard greens, let's just call it. Okay. I haven't bought chicken in a while, but how much does a pack of chicken cost? For a family of 4, maybe $12 to $15?
Well, yep, that's right.
Okay, so that's for just the chicken alone. But then for the rice and the collard greens, let's add another $10. Right. So that's $25 right there just for that meal. That would feed a family of 4 for maybe that night, or maybe a little bit of leftovers. Okay. If you think about beans, when you get like those dried beans, I don't know how often people do it, but if you get those dried beans, those bags are about $2 to $3. And that, if you make that big batch, that's going to last you for a couple of days, couple of meals.
You're right.
And then if you're going to have rice with that, right? Rice and beans, those usually go together. Same thing, couple dollars, maybe $3. So that's $6 right there for a couple of days worth of meals already. And then you can add in some vegetable like broccoli or something. So you can probably spend about $10 for a meal for a couple of days versus $25 for one meal. You really have to change the way you're looking at everything, and don't believe the internet hype. Again, I think there's a lot of hype out there where you think you have to create all these fancy meals and buy all of these specialty products in order to eat vegan. Like, no, you could just have regular supermarket foods like what we're doing today, and and make a healthy meal.
I like it.
Sorry, I'm just keep talking, right?
No.
As far as the protein, that I always laugh at that question because it's like all of a sudden everyone becomes a nutritionist when you tell them that you're changing your diet, and they're so concerned about that you're getting all your vital nutrients, right? So
Right.
my first question is always, well, how much protein does a person need? And they never know. You're worried about my protein, but how much daily protein does a person need? Most people don't know because protein is just like pushed in our face. Oh, get these protein drinks, protein powder, protein, as if we're gonna run out of protein. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
But then the other question too is like, okay, protein doesn't only come from meat. We're so conditioned to believe that meat equals protein, but meat also equals saturated fat and cholesterol. You can get protein from all plant foods, every single one. Where do you think the cows, like beef, for example, where do cows get their protein from?
The grass.
That's right. They don't eat other animals. They're herbivores. So they're getting it from the earth. They're getting it from plants. And then it's just concentrated in their bodies. And if we eat them, we'll get some of the protein. But again, what else are you getting with that protein? So we should always be going to we should always be going to the source and cutting out the middleman. We don't need the middleman because obviously some other issues come with that middleman. You're not just getting the protein, you're getting all these other things. So those are the questions that come up all the time. And, I just chuckle because I'm sure I even asked those questions at one point before I was eating this way. So not laughing at the person, but it's just funny how often they come up.
I know, right? And so, what? I like that math. That math was math and correct. When you said about the beans and the rice will give us a couple of days meals at a lot less price, where you get the chicken meal and that's about correct. $25-$30, and we only get to eat for one day. Exactly. It's almost like teaching a person how to fish so they can eat for a lifetime. Yeah. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're teaching us how to fish so that we can eat good for a lifetime. So thank you for this.
And you're saving so much money. You in the long run, you save so much money. I mean, if you buy all of those specialty items, right, then it can add up. I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes I think when people are transitioning from eating meat-based to plant-based, they'll buy some of those transitional foods, which can cost just as much or more than the meats themselves. So once you get out of that transition period and you really start making foods like what we just made today in a couple minutes, then you'll realize, hey, really, it isn't expensive. Actually, I'm saving so much money on my grocery bill.
That's right. It sounds good too. Now, if you don't mind, while you're cutting that delicious looking sandwich, could you tell us a little bit about your super simple plant-based power bundle and what's included and who is it really designed for?
So the super simple plant-based bundle that I created, it was really for those individuals who really couldn't attend any classes, right? But they were interested and wanted to get started today. For different reasons, people can't attend a class. It could be just the wrong day of the week, or they can only do it in person, or whatever the issue is. But they're ready and they want to get started today, and they want to know how. So I was like, let me put this little package together, which is like a step up from the beginner's guide, which is just general basic information, like the how, like what is this all about? Sorry, that's more of the what. And a little bit of the how, but the super simple bundle really gives the how. So I put together like a 7-step plan that kind of walks you through what steps you need to take in order to start making some of these changes today. So again, going over the basics, going over like swaps that you can make in your kitchen, looking at your kitchen pantry, some essentials to have in your pantry to make sure that you're prepared to eat like this. I put in there a 14-day planner with the recipes, so that you have some recipes all ready to go. Again, everything you need to get started today. And even in the recipes, I put some sauces in there, some snacks. And then there's guides and tips. So there's a lot of information to just, like I said, if you're ready to get started today, get the bundle and you'll have like all information you need. And so after we mix all that together, let's also add in just a little bit of lemon juice. And that is optional, but I'm going to just use a cap because that's just what I do.
Okay.
But whenever you add lemon juice, it brightens the flavor of just any meal that you make. It doesn't taste lemony at all. It just brings, it's like a flavor enhancer.
Okay.
So and then have look at that, it's oozing out. Have some of the, it's okay, I'm the only one eating this, so I can use my fingers.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. So the lemon juice, and like I said, I use Dijon, but you can use regular yellow mustard, any mustard that you like, spicy brown. I just like the kick of that. And then that is the entire mock tuna spread. And let me tell you, this is so delicious. My husband, who is not 100% plant-based, and he'll eat some of my meals, he was like, what's the recipe for this? He wanted to know, not only like make it again, he was like, what's the recipe? And he doesn't even like tuna. I remember he never even liked tuna, but this, I was like, wow, I'm getting you to eat tuna finally after all these years. So,
right.
But yeah, again, this is a basic recipe. If you wanted to add more, you can add even some black pepper. Let's put some of that in there. I know, Eric, we were talking like you used to put like tomatoes in there or even some paprika. Put all the spices that you normally would put in there. Again, base recipe, and you can make it to your own liking. That is it.
That is wonderful. That thing. And so the title or the recipe, mock tuna spread. So you made tuna without tuna.
Yes, and I'm going to show you one more thing that if you're really looking for a fishy taste, there's a couple things. A person who was in the class actually reminded me about this. You can always get, sushi, right? How sushi is made. It's always wrapped in like that seaweed. That's exactly what this is. So if you wanted more of a fishy taste, you can take this. They're in like little sheets.
Okay. And
you can crumple it in there. I don't need that tuna flavor, like I'm not missing that. But again, if you're transitioning and you really miss the tuna, they're like these little sheets, and you can crumple them inside. Ooh. And that'll give it, because tuna just tastes like the sea. So that's it. Exactly. So that's a little tip if you're really like, oh, it tastes good, but I miss my tuna flavor, or something like that.
But that looks so delicious, and that looks like it'll go good on crackers, bread, put it on top of a salad. Oh, yes. Goodness.
And I made a little sandwich already with it. Put that over there. Never mind my little mustard over there.
I see the mustard mishap.
Yes, but we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that. I didn't see it.
It's so good. I'm using the bread that I'm using, what is it? Oh, Dave's Killer Bread. It's one of the better breads out there. It just has a higher fiber count. And if you like a nice hearty bread like this, you'll really love this bread. But again, start where you can start. If you have a specialty bread that you love, just use that bread. You're already doing something better by having chickpeas and all these vegetables instead of having the tuna. So don't kill yourself trying to change everything too fast. Sometimes that could set you back, right? Okay.
So so what you're basically saying is take advantage of the gradual transition. You don't have to just run the sprint, start off sprinting and then get tired before you get to the finish line.
I think that happens too often, right? Where we're like, okay, especially around this time of the year, January 1st, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to go, and then we know 2 weeks in, not even 2 weeks sometimes, the gym is empty. And you only drank one glass of water. It's like you're trying to overhaul too much, trying to create too much change at the same time. And you just get overwhelmed. So start slow.
So, you're basically telling us to make our expectations reasonable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's the best approach.
Now, listen, you offer both virtual and in-person classes. And by doing that, how has that expanded your reach to the community?
Wow. So that kind of started the virtual. I always wanted to do it in person because you actually get to taste the food, right? That I cook. But like I was saying earlier, sometimes people can't make it to whatever day of the week that I pick. It'll work for some, won't work for others. And I want to reach everybody. I was on this mission to get the information out to everyone. So I was like, maybe I can do this virtually and then just have the participants cook along with me. Like I'll send the recipes out in advance, and then it's up to them, but then they can cook the recipes and then actually get to taste the food. So they get everything that the in-person class gets, except they make their own food and then taste it at the end. And it's expanded the reach, not only in the community where now those who couldn't do it in person can do it on virtually. Now it's expanded out of the state. So I've had, actually the last series that we did, I had a couple of participants that were in, I think Georgia. I gotta double check. But one was in Georgia and a few other in other states. I can't remember at this time, but it was members who were participants who actually joined. They told their family or their friends. So it's like it's growing outside of the community, and that is the point. I want this information to get to everyone, especially in our community. We need this more than many other communities. So I'm so grateful for virtual life. 2020 changed a lot for us, but I think it definitely made us more comfortable being online and doing things online. So
tell me something, Deb. Tell us all. What is the most rewarding part of what you do? It's a two-part question. The first one is, what is the most rewarding part of what you do? And the second part of that question is, what makes you so passionate about this mission?
I think it's the same answer for both. It's really the participants. When I get in the class and we start talking and the video's playing and I see that aha moment come across their face and their language, it's like, okay, this is why I do this, right? Because I've been doing this for so long now. Some of this is like, oh, I've said this a million times. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but every time I do a new class, it's new to new people. And I have to remember that this is eye-opening. The way my eye was opened so many years ago, some people are hearing this information for the first time. And so seeing that aha moment and then the results and the responses. So I've had participants tell me how their blood pressure has gone down, they've reduced their medication, they've lost weight. They are so surprised at the end of the class that the food tastes good. It's like, the comments are like, oh, this really tastes good. And I get it because I've had that feeling before, like, vegan, is it just going to be plants? What am I eating? Salads all day? And it's like, no, look at the variety that you can eat and it tastes good. One class we did, we were focused on beans, right? So part of the class, the first half, if we're talking about, like, say, fiber, for instance, then whatever we cook will correlate to the topic. So it was all about fiber and protein. So we did like a bean dish. We did 4 different bean dishes that were all different. We did, if I can remember, I know we did a black bean burger.
Ooh.
I think we made this, I think this one was where I made this chickpea tuna.
Okay.
We did like a bean quesadilla, and then it was like another rice and bean dish, and they were all different beans. And it was like, look at the variety that you can have, all eating plant-based, and it all tastes good. So really, it's just the participants. It just warms my soul when I hear all these responses, because I know that it's expanding. I know the reach is far beyond this class, because if they like it, then they're going to tell someone how great it is, and the message just keeps growing and growing. So that's what warms my soul.
And that's beautiful. And so basically, you bring the same fire and excitement to each and every class, no matter whether it's repeated students or new students. Everybody's going to experience that same Debra fire every time they come to the class. And I think that's what's inspiring in itself, that you have such a fire and passion that is pretty much contagious. Have you ever been around someone, you might start your day out like, well, all mundane, but you get around somebody who's just excited about just being where they are. And all of a sudden now you feel a little excited about their excitement. So so it's almost contagious, the excitement.
It's a shift in the atmosphere, right? It's like, and that shift is contagious. It's like, why am I being down or negative? Let's change your mindset. I think that's always where everything starts. Like, once you change your mindset, all else will start to follow. And that's what these classes are about, like getting your mind right, getting the right information, and you start looking at things so differently. One of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Is change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And it's so simple, but so powerful. And we can go on a whole nother hour just talking about that. But I encourage everyone to look up that quote and just find out like what that means for you, because it's applied in so many different areas of my life.
So tell us something, Deb. I believe I've heard that you have another class starting up soon. You want to tell us about that and the time frame that we have, and any information that you want to share about that?
Yeah, so our next class series starts in January, and it's perfect time. And the series is called Kickstart Your Health, right? So at the beginning of the year, when a lot of New Year's resolutions are about health, trying to grab people in that time frame, right? Like, come on over here, get on this health train. It starts January. It's January 8th in person, so we're here in Trenton, New Jersey, but virtually it's on January 10th. What's great about this class is that it is free. Fortunately, I was able to get a grant to cover limited seats. I believe it's 30 seats or 25 to 30 seats. So for free attendees. And after that, it would be $20 a class. So if you're interested, sign up right away while the seats are still available. But it's so great. Again, we're going to have fun. This one is a 7-week series class. So we'll go for 7 straight Saturdays virtually, and the same thing in person.
Wonderful. Now you heard that, guys. $20. The cost that it will cost you to order a single burger meal and have it Uber to your house from McDonald's, you can spend that on something that is going to give you an opportunity to be healthy. So this is wonderful, Deb. Thank you for that information. And I'll be one of the ones. And I like being transparent. Let's keep it real. This would be my very first one. I've heard of this so many different times. But then once I had an opportunity to speak with my sis about what she has going on, it just moved me, immediately moved me, because one of those ones that were looking from the outside in. So everything was only thing I heard was plant-based. Coming from the carnivore side of life, all I heard was plant-based, and that was the immediate, maybe, I'm not really ready for that. But then when she explains it, and the way she puts it out there, it's no longer a burden to do this. It becomes a necessity. And that's what one of the gifts that I believe the Lord has given you in presenting this, is that you present it not as a burden, but as a gift and as an opportunity, a need. Absolutely a need. So I thank God for that. It was because of your passion that has prompted me to move forward on being in the class. And you heard it, everyone. She does this virtually. So if you're not in Trenton, New Jersey, my home state, I had to throw that out there. If you're not in Trenton, New Jersey, and you cannot attend in person, there is opportunity for virtual attendance. And so again, we inspire everyone who's listening to get involved, join virtually, get down with Deb, because this is what she's passionate about, and she is so excited about sharing all of her information and her experience with us all. So Deb, hands down, we thank God for you. Listen, I want to know something. What do you see Get Down with Deb? Where do you see that going in the next 5 years?
5 years. Well, I would love to have my own studio, because you're in my home right now. So I would love to have my own kitchen studio where I could do this full time. I can offer more classes throughout the week, not just a couple times a week and virtually. I would love to do more community engagement, like partnering with community centers or even churches, because I feel like churches can be the hub of different communities, and bringing this program to different communities all over. There's even I love this curriculum so much because there's so much varied information. There's even a curriculum centered around employee wellness. So this is a program that I can bring to corporations and teach inside corporations to employees there. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. Even more digital tools. So I was talking about the coaching program and doing some kind of online course, building out an app, maybe, the possibilities are endless. So, and I just want to create more areas for impact. I think that's the point. Not so much growth, but reach people where they are, how they can get this information, and make sure that it's still engaging, but also informational. Right.
So yes, it's a great thing, and Get Down with Deb is going to do some miraculous, marvelous things, and the Lord is really putting you in position to be very successful with blessing and helping others to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. So again, I'm excited to see what God is going to do for you and with you in your future. And I just want to, we didn't get a chance to talk about this. I know in our pre-production, I've asked this question because I was always curious when it comes to making a food change, and our taste buds have grown accustomed to having or identifying with certain tastes, and then all of a sudden we're removing those elements and we're getting ready to implement new things of new tastes. And how long, I know you told me, but tell the people, how long does it take for your taste buds to reset from having to eliminate those forces of nature, the SOSs, from our diet?
I would say on average, it's about 3 weeks, right? So 3 weeks is about the time that it takes to change a habit, just generally. If you've heard of the book Atomic Habits, which is an amazing book, 3 weeks is that sweet spot where it's like, okay, you're in a groove, you're not fighting it as much. And that's honestly the same amount of time that it takes for your taste buds to regenerate, about 2 to 3 weeks. So it's actually that 21 days is the perfect sweet spot. You're changing biologically, right? Your taste buds are regenerating, but you're also changing your mindset at the same time.
I like that. I like that. And excuse me, and just coming out of the holidays, and you know, typically as African-American families on holidays, we like to cook. We like to cook the turkeys and the hams and the greens, and some folks still eat chitlins. I'm not knocking it. Excuse me. Basically we have a standard spread that we use for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Here lately, some of us have stepped away from the traditional meals and gone non-traditionally. But for you, having to more than likely, come from some traditional meal standards for the holidays, how do you handle, Deb, the social situations of the holidays and the family gatherings when you might be the only one in the room who is eating a plant-based diet? So tell us, how do you generally handle being in those settings and the menu is not plant-based? So how do you generally deal with that?
It's hard, right? Especially around this time. I'm not gonna lie to you, because all that you mentioned still looks good to me. Just because I changed my diet doesn't mean it doesn't look good, or I don't remember how those things taste, right? But
right.
I let the education oversee my actions, not my taste buds. But so, and some of these tips are in the beginner's guide and even in the bundle. But some basic tips would be to eat before you leave. Make sure you're nice and full so that you're not tempted with those, familiar favorites.
Right.
Another thing would be to bring a dish. Bring something that you can eat. And it's also an opportunity to present a vegan dish to the community. And you don't even have to tell them it's vegan. Just here, this is what I brought. Don't ask any questions, and there won't be any answers that you don't want to hear.
Right.
But then you still have those family members that are pushy, like, they want you to try their sweet potato pie or whatever it is, their special dish that they made. I find, you can say something like, oh, great, yeah, I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it a little bit later. Just kind of divert the attention away from you eating it. Even ask them about the dish. Ask them, what did you put in it? What's your special seasoning? People like to talk about themselves, right? Especially a host. So flip it on them, make them be so happy about it. And before you know, they're not even trying to force you to have it. They're just so happy that you're talking about their dish, and they're going on, and then you can be on your merry way. Those are just some of the tips that I use, but it's still hard, and still to this day, I've been eating this way for about 4 years consistently. And still, it's like, here, I made a dish for you. The host will also often think that they're making a vegan dish, like, oh, I made collard greens and you can have some of those. And like, what's in those collard greens?
Right, right.
We know what we like to put in the collard greens, and like they just, no shame or no blame on them. They just forget, right. They just say, oh, greens, here, you can have greens, but you put some ham hocks in there or you put some turkey necks. I'm not gonna have that. So it's always a challenge, but yeah, those are some little tips that you can just, and not even just for the holidays, just throughout the year. There's so many different gatherings where you can use some of those tips to help you.
So you had to get creative in your diversion. Your diversion is creative. That's how you have to be. I don't mind that, and I'm not mad at you. And I know that can be a problem. That's probably one of the things most plant-based, or let me say most diet introduction, people who are just introduce themselves into a new diet, that's probably one of the chief concerns, not immediately, because your immediate concern is getting on the diet and seeing some progress.
Right.
But I think that becomes a concern, a chief concern later down the line, because now you're comfortable with this new diet, this new lifestyle. But now how do you implement this into your social life? Because you don't want to become an introvert. You want to still go be social, go out to the gatherings that are had at the job and this, that, and the third. And you don't want to make anyone feel bad. But you also don't want to divert from what your progress is.
Right.
So I think this is probably something that a lot of people will have to get creative, like yourself. You have to get creative because you don't ever want to get that far in progress and throw it away just to make people feel better about being around you.
And I think you have to remember that it really is a journey. I am still on the journey. I think I said it last time. I am not perfect. I still slip up and have some things. We don't have to talk about what. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean? Like it's about just moving forward. Just you have your own path, your own journey. Even if you did have something, that was off the plan. Mm-hmm. Okay, make the next meal better. Like no one's perfect. No one at all is perfect around here, but the mission and the journey and the path that you're on. Sometimes we veer left, straighten out, and keep going straight. I
love it. I love it. And so, everybody listening, Deb, she just makes it look easy, but it wasn't always easy for her. She had a journey. She's had some ups and downs, but because she steered straight in the course and she stayed focused and she dialed in, she didn't let the diversions stop her from accomplishing what she knows she is able to accomplish. And again, that all goes back to your passion and your character. So again, we thank God for you and for your testimony. So people, be creative. Once you get involved, be creative. Don't throw away your progress because someone feels like you're, being a certain way by not eating what they present. If they really love you and they know that you're on a certain diet and they invite you to their house, they shouldn't give you a hard time anyway. But for those few cases that people do give you a hard time, love them anyway, but stay your course.
Right.
And Miss Kennedy is a living evidence-based proof that if you stay your course, you will continue to make the progress. And she has made great progress, leaps and bounds, and we thank God for her being with us on today. So listen, it has been such a pleasure as always, having you with us in the studio this afternoon. And, you just keep doing what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not the last time you're going to see our wonderful host, our wonderful panelist, our guest, and she's also a producer. So she'll be having her hands on a lot of different things that we're doing here, real life, real talk, and real faith. And we're still looking into moving forward in this faith, food, and transformation. So we're not done yet. So hold on, strap in. It is just beginning. So again, Deb, thank you for being with us on today. Anything you want to share before we close out?
I would say the best place to reach me if you have any questions would just be go to my website, getdownwithdeb.com. I'm on all socials at getdownwithdeb. Ask me any question you want. I'm an open book. I'm ready to share.
You heard that, everybody. She's ready to share. So please do not hesitate to text her, DM her, get on her social medias and give her everything, talk to her, ask her questions. She says she's ready, and she's a well full of knowledge and information about this plant-based diet. So please do yourself a favor and reach out and do the right thing. And Deb, again, it was great having you, and we look forward to doing this again.
All right.
You can't erase us, can't erase us. We're written in the stars, we're written in the dust. You can't erase us, can't erase us. Our legacy lives on in God we trust. We fought for freedom, we die for peace. You can't erase us, our story will never cease. We're in the history book, we're in the street. You can't erase us, our victory is complete.